You're listening to the Breakaway Wealth Podcast, the show that helps you build wealth faster, think outside the box, and break out of the herd. Here's your host, Jim Oliver.
Welcome back, Breakaway Wealth. I'm your host, Jim Oliver, and with me today, my co-host, Nick Kotsko. Welcome, Nick.
As usual, it's always a pleasure to join you back in the studio, and we've got just one of those things to talk about today that never gets old.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, success doesn't get old. Wealth building doesn't get old. Cash flow doesn't get old. Passive income doesn't get old. You know, the sunshine here in Florida doesn't get old. I mean, maybe in August people think it does, but not for me. And, you know, Nick, we're recording this the day after the Super Bowl. And if you notice the color that I have on, I think this is I do have another green golf shirt, but I can't be happy enough that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And there's a lot of reasons for that we don't need to go into. But success, and when you're coming off of a Super Bowl victory for the Eagles, you think of what are those successes. Now, by the way, they asked what was the difference and how they just dominated the Chiefs. And what they said was preparation and game plan, that the coaches were so detailed in their game plan and so confident in their game plan that they went out and they executed. So let's kind of tail off from that.
Yeah, I mean, Earl Nightingale, he said it so perfectly. His definition of success is the pursuit of a worthy ideal. The realization, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Why couldn't I say that all of a sudden? But it's not winning the Super Bowl makes you a success. It's the pursuit of it, right? Like all the preparation that they went through, right? All the pain, the guys they drafted, right? The things they did in spring ball, the guys lifting weights and running when nobody else was watching. Right?
Yeah.
They set out to have a goal. And so many people have this so backwards. I mean, can you share what Earl, if you remember what Earl talks about, even about money and success?
You know, what specifically, can I just comment on something you just said about the Eagles?
Yeah.
Because there's something there that's definitely part of what Earl Nightingale, what everybody that talks about success is. After 4 games, the Eagles were 2-2.
Yeah.
And people in Philadelphia wanted the coach to be fired. Right? But so that's one thing. They felt they went through adversity. They went through some failure early on, not meeting expectations, learning what didn't work. Right?
Yeah.
But also I think about Jalen Hurts. Is that his name? Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
Hurts. Yeah. Okay, so his dad is a powerlifting coach, and you said something about lifting weights, right? So, or maybe he was a powerlifting coach, whatever, it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
what he instilled in him is when you lift weights, right? I just experienced this morning. Is hey, last time you did this much on bench press, you did. It's embarrassing, so I won't say the number.
You're 59, man. Come on. It's not embarrassing.
I know, but I still think I should be able to do 315 or more, but I'm just telling you, it's nowhere close to that. But it's you go into the gym and you say, I'm going to get a little stronger today. You come home and you eat something and you say, I'm going to get a little bit stronger today. I'm going to recover a little bit more today. I'm going to do all of these things. I'm going to make just a little bit of incremental progress.
Yeah.
So, you know, everybody wants the vision, but no one wants the journey. And in the journey, as Mike Tyson would say, even when it's the crap, you got to learn to love the journey, right? Because it'll happen over time. It's just, you know, like, I was doing this, I was recording the live event because I've got something that I got to do this afternoon. And you know, I was prepping for it. I was talking about an example of success in real estate. And it was amazing in 10 years visualizing this. Again,
Yeah.
that's back to Earl Nightingale, a worthy ideal. A worthy ideal was $1 million of passive cash flow a year.
Yeah.
Okay. And I say that, I use that number because that seems like success for anybody. Okay. Because I didn't say what you were going to do with the money. I'm not saying you love the money. I'm not saying any of those things. But if you had $1 million a year coming in, what would you do with your time?
Yeah.
What would you do with your resources? Right? I mean, how would you make an impact for other people? So that's success. So let's dive back into that a little bit. Go ahead. What's your comment from that?
Yeah. So, like, Earl even talks about in The Stranger's Secret that so many people sit in front of the stove, the buck stove, and they wanted to provide heat, but they don't want to put any wood into it. And I
Right.
love how he says that, right? People want to get paid, um, for their work without providing any real value.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, success is the money we earn is the reward for the effort we put forth, for
Creating
for,
value. Yeah.
for the value that we provide, right?
Yeah.
And we got to put in the work, right? Like, I love that worthy ideal is the goal. Okay. What have you and I've been bantering about off camera is this concept of input and output,
Yeah.
right? Um, what am I talking about there? Well, I'm talking about, like, us controlling the results, right?
Yeah.
And we have to the success the success isn't the result. The success is the input. It's the focus to put other people's needs before mine. It's to provide more value than we take in payment, right? It's chopping the wood so we can put that into the stove, right?
Yeah.
And so I think you and I have particularly had a little bit of an awakening. It's not that we weren't doing this, but I love just how it's phrased, the input versus the output. And the input is that pursuit of a worthy ideal. And then us surrendering the results that, hey, I did my absolute best.
Yeah.
I have
Surrendering the results. I like that. Exactly.
and really what that is that's our call to abide, right? So
Yeah.
to surrender, us as Cro-Magnon men, right? As the guys who we're good with, we want to get in the ring and we want to fight, and by golly, we want to win at all things, right? And we'll piss and moan when we don't win. That's our bias, right?
Yeah.
But that's us wanting to control the output of everything. And
Yeah.
and we don't get that luxury, right? It's what do we do with the results?
Well, John Wooden talked a lot about if you win the game but you didn't give your best, then he was, then like, you shouldn't be proud. Okay, you shouldn't be happy with your effort. But if you put in an effort, all the effort that you have, and you lost, you should be proud of that. That you lost. I mean, that you put in the best effort, because so much in life people don't really put in that effort. I love what you said about the stove and putting the wood in. Well, before you put the wood in, you got to cut the wood. We always say, I don't care when you cut the wood, how long it takes you to cut the wood, but you better cut the wood.
That's right.
Right? You better just do whatever you got to do to get the input. The output, it is what it is, right? You don't try to control what you can't control. So it's so much of infinite banking when we talk about control, because taking control means taking ownership.
Yeah.
Okay. So like when I say, hey, this is a closed system that you control, other people go, well, wait a minute. But I want the bank to control it. I want the government to control it. I want Wall Street to control it. I'll just put some money in my 401k. And then, if something doesn't go right, then I have somebody to blame. It just wasn't a good market. The government, they taxed me to death. So at the end of my life, I can say, hey, you know what? I just didn't have control. It is what it is. I mean, we're all going down. We're all going down together. like that's, if you just have the courage to take control. and ownership.
Yeah. Take control of the input, right? Like,
Yeah.
be able to look in the mirror and say, I did my best,
Yeah.
no matter what. Like, win, lose, or draw. And we have a bias too, and Jocko Willink talks about this in Extreme Ownership. Is we take full responsibility for the outcome. It doesn't have to define us, though. And I think a lot of times, especially entrepreneurs, I don't know how this has worked for you, but I think being an entrepreneur is constantly feel like you're drowning just a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And that kind of speaks a little bit to, hey, the gap in the gain.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you're constantly looking at what I didn't achieve, what the little things that didn't work out, right, then that's living in the gap. Right. If we can, we have to exert the effort. We have to put the input in to say, hey, what were my wins today? What are those 3 wins today? Hey, I slept like absolute dog manure last night, but I got up and I chopped some wood.
Yeah.
That's a win. I may not have chopped enough wood to get the stove really roaring today, but by golly, we got up and chopped wood.
So, I love that, Nick, I think about that. So like this morning I woke up at 4:30 and I have my trainers ready to go to work out, right? If my trainer wasn't there, it was Super Bowl, just got a little bit less sleep than I would have liked to have. And it's really easy to say, you know what? My body needs to rest today. It's not, I don't need to cut wood today.
Yeah.
Right. But when your trainer's there, and guess what? Your trainer doesn't give a crap that you were up late. Trainer
Right.
doesn't give a crap whether your neck hurts a little bit, whatever. Like we're pushing it today.
Yeah.
And so like that coaching is so important. And you can get coaching from a lot of different places, right? You can hire an actual coach. You can read. That's getting coaching. You can watch YouTube videos, whatever. That's getting coaching. But, when you figure out, like, again, with working out, I want to get stronger. I'm trying to add 6 to 10 pounds of muscle this year. I have a birthday coming up in almost exactly 4 months.
Ooh.
Where at 660, I already have abs, but I want to have more defined abs. I want to have more muscle mass. And so what I did actually yesterday, Nick, is, of course, on Instagram, they sent me some AI enhancing photo thing, right? And it's not where they just put my head on some jack dude that's 30 years old. And I go, oh, that's what I want to look like. By the way, I have done that picture. And I go, my trainer goes, you could look like that, but you'd have to take a lot of things you don't want to take.
Yep.
Okay, I don't want to do that.
Noted.
But noted, right? This one, it just enhances your muscles a little bit. It enhances your abs a little bit. It enhances your chest, your traps a little bit, and your legs, everything else. So it just made me just a little bit like what I want to look like, right? Just a little bit thinner in the waist. And it was like, oh. So I showed my trainer this morning this picture, and she goes, okay, I'm airdropping that to myself. That's our goal. I'm like, whoa, hold down just a second. But I love that because now I had a vision. I created some kind of vision board, right?
Yeah.
I shared it with her. Okay. Now I'm sharing it on the podcast that this is what I want to look like. Right. And on my birthday, maybe I'll make a comparative thing. It doesn't matter because all I can control is I'm going to work out the next 4 months, 5 days a week. I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to eat the things I need to eat. I'm going to take my creatine and all that crap, all my supplements.
Yep.
Right? I'm going to do the input.
Yep.
But success is doing what I need to do when I need to do it, whether I want to do it or not. So that was the long time ago. Jim Person taught me that the champion's creed, or I think he called it, or the tiger creed or something. I don't know what it was.
Sure.
But he said, I will do what I need to do when I need to do it, whether I want to do it or not, no debate. So I'm not going to argue with myself. I'm not going to tell myself I should stay in bed and just sleep. And maybe, I've never missed a workout. Like I can just tell I didn't feel good this morning.
Sure.
Right? No. Well, first of all, I'm too cheap because I'm paying her like $80 an hour and I don't get a refund.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
$80 is gone. Is it worth laying in bed for $80? No, because I'm not going back to sleep. Right? So I'm just going to be lazy for $80? No. Right? I'm going to get my butt up and go work out. So,
because you'll be awake anyway, and you'll be pissed off laying there about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad that I went and did it.
No.
Maybe the first 5 minutes I wasn't real excited, but once you're in it, you're in it. It's kind of like a fight. The worst part of the fight is the anticipation that you're going to get in a fight. Once you're in the fight, there's no more thinking about it. Yeah. You're just like, how do I kick this person's butt?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so for those that haven't listened to The Strangest Secret, let's just kind of talk about this. This 30 days. So you got 4 months. So you got, well, we'll call it, you got 4 quarters.
Yeah.
All right. Now, listen, whether you look like the picture that you gave Jen, is that her name, Jen?
Yeah, Jen. Yep.
In 4 months is frankly beside the point, because that would be focused on the output. That's not what we're talking about. So in the next 30 days, as Earl said, we have one singular focus, right?
Yep.
And the exercise is to write this down on a card, right? Yep. And he challenges everyone to, so we got to work backwards. We're starting with the end in mind. And so over the next 30 days, in your case, Jim, the things that you have to do, what's the one thing that you need to focus on over the next 30 days so that you are pursuing this goal. And so Jim would write this down. He would focus on that every morning. He would focus on it every night, and before going to bed. And because what's he said, we become what we think about, right? If you plant weeds in that field, the most abundant opportunity of a field is our brain. If we plant weeds, it'll grow weeds. If we plant corn, it'll grow corn.
Yeah.
Right. So, do you have an idea of what that would be in 30 days?
Yeah. I mean, because so like here's my progression, and I have it up here on my board, because to get what I want, then I have a picture, right? But to get that, there's really 2 things: cutting fat. Right now I'm bulking though, right? So I'm trying to add in those 4 months, 6 pounds of muscle. Okay. So, and it really started January 1, but, so to do 6 pounds of muscle, I'm taking 20 grams of creatine a day, working out 5 days a week. I'm eating at least 2,400 calories, which is 400 calories more than I was eating.
Okay.
200 grams of protein. And I'm drinking a gallon of water a day. The creatine holds water in your muscles, right? Okay. And this is going to sound taboo, but I'm increasing my carbs a little bit to about 25, 30% of my diet. So, but also to keep me focused on that, I'm meditating for 10 minutes a day using heart math, healing code.
Cool.
And so by doing that 10 pounds of muscle, 6 pounds of muscle by June, I think I can get my body fat less than 12%. Okay. So if my body fat's less than 12%, I have 6 more pounds of muscle, then I'm going to look a lot closer to the picture. Right. And I pulled the picture up, so I'm looking at it on my
That's your focus, right? That's cool. That's it.
By the way, so then how do I validate? Hey, can a 60-year-old look like that? So then I got to look at 60-year-olds that look like that, or 70-year-olds. And so one of the people, and I don't care if you love him or hate him, RFK Jr., guy's 72 years old. He's ripped.
Yeah. Amen.
So you can say, well, he didn't know anything about health. Okay, sorry if you're like an RFK Jr. hater. Okay, but he knows something.
That's right.
Because he's the evidence, right? It's not like he was just born that way. That's what I love about this journey of physical fitness and putting on muscle and getting stronger is nobody's born that way. Right. And I'm not talking about like the guys that are just like totally roided out freaks.
Sure.
I mean, RFK Jr. does not look like he's on roids.
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
He's in shape. And that means every time you go grab something out of the refrigerator. And by the way, yesterday and the day before, I ate so bad. I had cheese dip last night. I had these little hot covered things with some mustard. I had chicken wings. But so like now today, that stuff's gone for the day, right? The rest of this week, it's back to reality. It's back to, but so I'm not talking about being deprived, but I really love the way that I eat. And I had an assistant that just left about a month or so ago. And she would say, "Oh, you eat really boring. Let me make you," like everybody wants to bring you down. When you're having success and you're planting that corn in your field, everybody wants to plant a weed.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but some people. And guess what to do with those people?
Are you interested or committed?
I'm committed. Absolutely.
What's the difference between those two?
Well, interested would be like, I go, hey, you know what? It'd be really cool to have abs, but I'm not going to look what it like visualize it. I'm not going to have a plan. I'm not going to look at other people that have abs in their 60s or 70s or 80s, right? I'm just going to say, hey, that'd be really cool. Yeah, I'll have pepperoni and sausage and mushrooms on my pizza.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not saying you can't have pizza, but you know, like being interested in it is, I'd love to have that, but I'm not willing to do what it takes to get it. Not building a plan. I got first have a vision. I got the vision, right? So then how do I clarify the vision? I put tangible things to it, the picture, right? I put the picture to it. And I think, okay, if I look like that, I'm going to look better than most 35-year-olds.
Yeah.
Right? As far as shape. And then if I take and then I put little anchors to it, right? Because I've read a lot about their circumference or the amount of muscle that you have in your thighs.
Yep.
Equating to your lifespan.
Yeah.
Lifting weights and building muscle, how that increases your lifespan.
Yep.
It makes you look younger. Like if I have right now, I have a little bit of loose skin here, that the only way that loose skin is going away, it's not losing fat. But if I build this up, guess what's going to happen to that skin? It's all going to go this way, right? So then there's going to be less loose skin there. In the picture, there is no loose skin. Okay. The picture is ideal.
Yeah.
What I have to do is look at that's ideal. Where I am is the beginning of the journey for the next 4 months. And so in a month, how much progress have I made? I look back. I live in the gain, not the gap.
Yep.
And another 2 months, look back. And what am I going to do if in 2 months I go, wait a minute, I look better after a month? I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to say, you know what? Now I'm just going to starve myself for the next month and make up for that month. No, guess what? Maybe it's not June 9th when I hit my goal. Maybe it's August 1st then. And I go, whoa, what a loser, man. I was going to do that by my birthday. You know, like, no, it's just delayed a little bit. And I'm going to have setbacks. I mean, God forbid, I hope I don't get any injuries or anything else. But guess what? We're going to have a few days playing golf at the member guest. And I promise you, I'm not going to eat very good, right? I mean, because I know what they're going to feed us.
Yeah.
I'll eat. You know, but my point is that the more that I look at this picture and I say, what is there that I can't have that is in this picture? I can have all that, right?
Yep.
And so I got the visual, I got the plan. Now it's the execution. It's cutting the wood. When do you cut the wood? Well, for me, I got to cut it first thing in the morning, because if not, I don't really like to cut wood after that.
Yeah. So here's the charge. We'll wrap up. Here's the charge is, give yourself credit. Give yourself credit for the journey, but set a course, right? We've talked about goals. Set a course. Find something that you're committed to, not interested in. Okay. Interested is a hobby. Committed, those are the things that change us, right? They're the things that move our needle. And if you got to sit and pray about that and figure out what that is that you really want and work backwards, start with the end in mind. Is that $1 million of passive income 10 years from now? And work back to what are the things you got to do the next 30 days, but break it down into these 30-day objectives. Search on the Breakaway Wealth for The Strangest Secret. If you've not listened to it, I'm in the middle right now. I'm on day 7, I think it is, of listening to it every day for 30 days.
I love it.
I forgot how great it was. So I said, you know what? I want to do this because our late great mentor, Nelson Nash, he actually memorized the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, how incredible. But there's such gold in it. And just remember, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And chop that wood today. Chop the wood towards the thing that you're committed to, and celebrate that. Celebrate those wins every day, and keep your focus on that. Plant corn between your ears and focus only on that, and watch the magic that happens.
And the last thing I would say, Nick, before we wrap up, is when you need to pull weeds, pull the weeds.
Amen.
Right? Because there will be negative thoughts that come into your head. There will be. Hey, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe, cold beer sounds good. Like whatever it is, whatever's getting you away from your goal. Not that you can't have a cold beer, but you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Is making those choices to choose. And like you said, choose to cut the wood and you'll get what you want. But that vision, we talk about it so much, man. But just having that worthy goal of 30 days, watching that 32 minutes every day for 30 days. At the end of those 30 days, are you going to know more about the teachings in that 32 minutes or less?
Absolutely more.
And then, so now you're more powerful. You have a tool that you know how to use better.
Amen.
Nothing wrong with that. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up like we do every episode, Nick. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing all the information that you did. And we're going to end it. So take it away, Earl.
Here's the key to success and the key to failure. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about.
Thanks for listening to the Breakaway Wealth Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to this show wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. If you want to start increasing your wealth building ability right now, go to community.createtailwind.com to join our free online community and get access to free, in-depth training designed to help you build real, lasting wealth. See you next week.